Hey everyone, my name is Luke Johansson and this is video number 2. This video is going to be about the wrong priorities that people set in the gym. So the biggest thing is going to be that people are trying to increase the weight before they increase the skill. So let's get into it. Don't forget to subscribe and maybe share it with someone that needs to hear this. The main purpose of this video is to discuss this big topic of the wrong priorities. So I see a lot of people going into the gym and they're trying to put on, as much weight on the bar as they can without learning the skill. So I know I mentioned this in the intro video, but now I just kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into why people feel the need to, lift a ton of weight or feel like they need to lift a ton of weight before learning the skills. I think a big part of it is down to like ego and the self-confidence that people have. And I just want to reassure that people, that everyone here, including myself, we need to reevaluate, our lifts and focus on more of increasing the skill, because in the end, that's going to allow you to lift heavier weight. So my first analogy with this increasing the weight before you increase the skill, I always think about two examples. First one is, imagine someone walking across a tightrope across a canyon. Well, the thing is that you could do that and attempt it, but I would say that the repercussions of failing are going to be substantial and probably lead to your death. If you don't have the skill to actually walk across a tightrope. I know for myself, I could not do it. So if I were even to attempt anything like that, I need to put in a lot of work. The second thing is, being a firefighter myself, I can attest to people trying to, say, extricate someone from a vehicle. So that's just trying to extract them from the vehicle if they're in a motor vehicle accident. Now think of this, if some random person tried to use the tools that we use, they might be able to get the person out, and it might take a lot longer. It probably would take a lot longer, but that doesn't mean that they're going to come out unscathed. If someone doesn't have this necessarily skills, they might be like using the jaws of life, but they might be doing it incorrectly, and they might, be pushing one side of the car up against a patient while trying to free up someone else. So the thing is that you have to learn the skill and how to do it correctly, so you can actually do it more efficiently, and you can do it, faster, and you can do it better in that example, is just preventing more and further injuries. So I want to talk about the bench press. I've been recently training my brother-in-law Tim a lot in the bench press, and again, he's new to lifting, so he doesn't really necessarily know how to do it correctly. So the things that we've been focusing on first, being him being a new lifter, is just the technique of it and the pattern, the movement pattern of where you contact generally on your chest and how you press up, right? So the thing is that when you're new to lifting, you can't really, you could add a lot of weight you could add a lot of weight that you maybe think is a lot of weight, but then the thing is that you haven't really trained your stabilizer muscles. You haven't practiced the pattern of how the bar path should go. You haven't really learned to activate your lats or how to properly engage leg drive, right, to push a maximum amount of weight. So those are things that you definitely need to learn before you start adding weights. Now for myself, bench press, I can get really psyched up when I'm going for, a big lift. I'm trying to go for a max set or something like that, right? And even for myself, I can get so caught up in the moment of trying to hype myself up, listening to whatever pump up music I can, and I totally forget these cues, right? So, for myself, I really need to engage the glutes when I'm doing bench press, and as well engaging the core, and that's allowing myself to really get that leg drive and transfer of the energy from my heels all the way up to the actual bar. So those are just little cues for myself, and that's just increasing the skill before you increase the weight. I want to mention another thing, is that people get discouraged by the amount of weight that they move. And I just want to put it out here, just you got to stop caring about how much weight that you're actually pushing in the gym and actually moving. You know, it doesn't really matter. Yes, it's kind of cool. Sometimes you compare yourself to other people and you're like, wow, you know, I'm smaller than them, but I actually lift more than them. Well, good for you. You know, I sometimes definitely do the same thing, and it's something that I try to, you know, it's just for my own personal accomplishments. I don't really care that someone is, you know, there's far more people that are lifting, you know, they're bench pressing more than me, deadlifting, squatting more than me. But that doesn't really matter because it's my own personal journey. And I encourage you guys to do the same, is that it doesn't matter what other people are doing. And I think that's the big part of the ego and the pride thing and the self-confidence, is that, you know, you're trying to be like everyone else. But the one thing that I see time and time again is that people put too much weight on the bar. And again, I'm just going to use bench press for example. And I noticed that so many people, they try to put more weight on because they're always looking at who's watching them, or they're trying to see, you know, if they can lift more than someone else, and they end up using absolute terrible technique. You know, I filmed a little funny video of just like, you know, my bench press and how I'm doing just awful technique. And the thing is that, you know, you're just cheating yourself if you're doing that, right? So say you're not doing the bench press and you're not doing a full range of motion, or, you know, you're doing squats, and I'm not saying that you always have to break parallel or anything like that, because there could be different issues. But the thing is that if you're not taking advantage of doing the exercises properly and you're sacrificing, you know, the full benefit of that one particular exercise just so you can add a little bit more weight, then it's just really not worth it. And I think you have to reevaluate why you're doing the things that you're doing, and think about, why do you have to prove something maybe to someone else or to yourself, right? I think that once you start making the journey about your own personal accomplishments, you're going to have a lot more success in the gym. And trust me, I know what it's like to be not really great at something. I've been weightlifting for a long time. I've been weightlifting for many years. I've been doing strength training. I don't really do bodybuilding per se, but it's kind of something that I still like doing, aesthetic stuff. But I just recently started doing Olympic lifting and weightlifting, right? And man, if I ever had a hard time doing that. It's hard because I have the power to move more weight, but I don't have the technique. And I can tell you that is super frustrating. When I know that, you know, for example, the clean and jerk, I know that I can pull way more than 275 pounds off the ground, but I can't clean 275. I can strict press probably around 205 or something like that, but then clean and jerking sometimes over 225 like is super hard, right? So I don't have the technique for it. That's something that I'm constantly trying to improve on. I may compete at a smaller level one time, but the thing is that I do get discouraged sometimes, but overall I'm not as discouraged because I know that I'm going to keep on improving, keep getting better. And then once I see those little bits of, you know, success, maybe I do that lift once correctly out of like the 8 times that I do it, right? Those are just little things that you can be, you know, feel accomplished by and you can feel good about. And then once those one lifts that are doing well, maybe that becomes 2 out of 8 and 3 out of 8 and 5 out of 8, until maybe you can hit like 7 out of the 8 lifts that you do. They're like nearly perfect, right? And that's the goal. That's what you want to try to get to. So keep on grinding and keep on practicing how to do it correctly, because I guarantee when you do it correctly and efficiently, you will blow past your plateaus. Say you're stuck on your deadlift, your bench, your squat, your military press, anything like that. If you start focusing on the technique and how to do it better, then I guarantee you'll lift more weight. This doesn't really have to do with anything with the video, but this is our little dog. Her name is Ray, named after the Jedi. And yeah, she's kind of a little feisty, and but she's very sweet, but she always really likes to play. So Ray, say hi to the camera. And by the way, Ray wants you to subscribe to this channel and also follow me on my Instagram and as well TikTok. I don't really do dances, but I kind of just post workout videos and tips, so check those out too.